okay, let's be honest. There's some actually pretty dang good things in this chapter, and some actually really, really terrible things in this chapter. This chapter is a mixed bag for me, honestly, because last chapter, I actually thought, Hirokoshi pulled the trigger, had Deku lose his arms forever, and this chapter he just kind of retconned all that, and I had mixed feelings about that, to be honest. But I won't say what it is. But let's just actually just dive right into the review, shall we? You guys know if you like content like this, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. If not, hopefully I'm still able to entertain you and give you my explanations on why I believe this chapter has some actually good elements and some really terrible elements. All right. So let's just dive right into the review, shall we? Okay. So yes, chapter 420 from Aizawa, and we cut to At first in this scene, I was thinking, okay, yeah, this is actually not that bad because we know Konigiri or actually really Oboro, kind of like has some kind of sense of knowing that President Mike and Aizawa are both his friends, and so when they're falling, he warped them all together to get somewhere else, so he'd save them. But the only problem I have with this is he teleported them to in the middle of a rock with the ocean, and you can see the land incredibly far away. Like, of all the places, like, why would you teleport them there? I know why, for the sake of the story, so that way Aizawa and President Mike can't just leave Konigiri here, or Oboro if you prefer. They can't just leave him here because he has to stay with them so he could act innate their his ability to help everyone out that we see later on in the end game scene, which is actually pretty cool. But we'll get there when we get there. Um, so that's essentially why. But I feel that again, my personal preference, I think, would have been better. Is just instead of just randomly, Kunigiri could have just teleported Aizawa and President Mike to where All for One was hiding in that cave, and they could have just been stuck in there and just thinking to themselves like, okay, yeah, we're in this cave. I could try, blow ourselves out, but we could cause a cave in, which makes sense because that's where All for One was, and Kunigiri, can go back there. It's safe there because no one's there. I know it's essentially a gut reaction for Konigiri just because it's overboard memory. And there's a good scene here where but aside from that, there's a good scene here in the actual story where President Mike's just hitting Konigiri, just saying, why in the world did you teleport us here? What are you doing? And Aizawa just stops him because Aizawa kind of figures, that there's something else going on here. Konigiri, he did this for us, and there's a reason why. And President Mike's like, Aizawa, we cannot get our hopes up at this point. It was a mistake to try to think that this corpse here was our friend. It was a mistake to begin with. We shouldn't have placed our bets on him whatsoever. But then Aizawa notices that Konigiri's crying, and he's like, well, you know what? There was a time he actually recognized us where he called out to us. And Aizawa kind of puts his hand on him, saying, he still believes that his friend's deep down in there. And as he says, we're old, but in the end, we're still, best friends. We're always those students that hung out together. And Konigiri comes out President Mike's name, and he just opens a portal. And okay, okay, in the sense of the story, like if you didn't read Vigilantes, where it explains how this happened with Konigiri, how Oroboro became Konigiri. Like this works actually pretty fine because you could just assume that some of Konigiri's body organs were mixed in with the Nomu organs mixed together, and somehow Konigiri's memories were still able to inherit and take control of the body. But if you know the context of the Vigilante story, which part of Aizawa's backstory, I actually liked it. But the fact that a crushed body that we don't know for how long has just been just there dead is what becomes part of Konigiri. I got my gripes with that part. So yeah, as good as that backstory is, it just damages the transition of Oboro becoming Konigiri. It just does because again the body, like I would assume like okay he died, he probably got stabbed or something, died, and then All for One for whatever reason chose this body to use as Konigiri. We never got an explanation on why of all the bodies he chose this one. So Oboro had a quirk that was like a cloud they can stand on, kind of similar to Goku when he calls the Nimbus. Pretty cool quirk, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't see why he would choose that body. I mean, Kurogiri doesn't really fly. So yeah, again, I'm not counting that this chapter against that because vigilante is a whole other thing. So yeah, but I do like the fact that they're able to call the to call to Ouroboros because again, I not including vigilante, I could infer that some, again, similar to All for One with Shigaraki, some of the memories from within the organs transferred and not took over but are able to help. Okay, that's fine. Fine, a little rocky, but it's like, okay, it's holding. And then we get Aizawa just talking to everyone. He's like, all right, calling the police, and they're like, all right, tell me the location of everyone else because we're gonna gather everyone and just head to help Deku. Then he teleports to the refugee center at UA, well, underground UA, as everyone's surprised to see him. And as I was like, all right, we gotta get anyone, all the heroes here that could come and help. We need your help. And we get many people coming into volunteering, not even heroes, like ex heroes too, just coming in to want to help out. And then we get this little kid, this little child, I saying, you know what, I want to help out too. I'm not a hero, but I could help. I could fight. And I was always like, yeah, the more the merrier. I get it. I get that in My Hero the world, they let kids be sidekicks, and they're letting kids in Japan, in this area, actually, taking on a battle, an actual war, like Deku and his friends. I could get that because they're high schoolers, like they're still children, but I could get, like, if you need them, get them. But this kid looks like he's probably what, elementary, junior high, like, no, no, what's he gonna do? Even if he had a gun, he ain't gonna be able to do much. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, come on. I was like, really? Like, really? You're gonna let this kid have... Okay, I mean, all right. Like, I get desperation. I get it. I get where Horikoshi's going here. Like, everyone from old people, ex-heroes to children, we're all coming together to fight. Hold that thought. And we get this person that has no quirk actually giving up his shirt and saying, could you please give this to a hero that needs it? And which is a good scene because this kid was one of the kids that just really spoke out against Deku, saying why should Deku be? I believe it's the same dude saying why should Deku come here? The villains are aiming for him, and when if they're aiming for him, they're gonna kill all of us to get to Deku and everything. But him just watching everything the heroes have done for them, dying, getting... okay, no, ones that don't have names getting dying. And like Uraraka has amazing plot armor. Bakugo has the best plot armor ever, surviving and everything. Just surviving and everything. But all the heroes that you don't know names on, yeah, forget them. And yeah, which actually this is a good scene here where he's offering them, and we get a bunch of other people just offering their stuff too, and everything. Which I really like that scene. That scene was really good. Like that stuff I really really like because it's a combination of everyone. Like they're just normal people, right? But they're offering what they can, even the clothes off their back to help out. It could be, you could call it cheesy, but it works, and it works really well in this story. If it's cliche, it could be cliche stuff like this. Like this ain't cliche, but as an example, if something's cliche, but it works with the theme of the story, then it doesn't matter if it's cliche. If it works for the story like incredibly well, it works. And I think here again, not a cliche, but people offering things to help out really works. Like that's a bit of a cliche. Like heroes down, people wanting to stand up, kind of similar to in Spider-Man 2, where Doc Ock tries to get Spider-Man on the train, and the people try to get in the way, saying, yeah, you have to get through us. But Doc Ock easily gets them, and then Spider-Man like telling him, hold on, I'll give myself up. But normal people actually coming up and saying, well, here, take our stuff, which I like a lot. And I kind of do hope we see in the next chapter that some humans, like normal humans, like with guns or weapons or something, come to try to help fight because normal human, some representation, right? No, I'm joking. They'd get slaughtered. So yeah, them offering what they can, like medicine, bottled water, clothes. That's great. I like that a lot. Then we cut to other parts of the battlefield where the heroes are essentially just gathering heroes, beating villains, like what remaining villains are out there, to just essentially just gather everyone together to join forces. As Aizawa says, starting phase 3 of the divide and conquer operation. And then we get the teleportation scene from Endgame, where it's a bunch of teleporters opening around. I don't know why they're in the sky. I know it's like a reference to the movie, but they should be near the ground because most of these heroes aren't gonna be able to fly. I get it, but you got to think about stuff like this. You really do. I mean, you can't just sacrifice visual for actual what's actually happening in the story. What actually the story is actually happening in real life. Yeah, I guess some of these more heroes could probably jump pretty high or like survive a hard fall. But what if you teleport someone that can't? Like, what if Mineta was up there, like on one of those teleporters? Like you have to take these into consideration. You really have to do. Again, you can't. If any of you guys are ever gonna be future writers, I'm a dummy, but even I know this, so I gotta tell you guys that don't sacrifice visual visuals for how do you say actual realisticness of what should happen. Again, what if Mineta was on one of those? We see how damaged he's later in this chapter. What if he was up there and he jumps and he comes out and he goes falls flat like a grape, right? You can't do that. You just can't. Again, it looks cool, but it doesn't work in the actual context of the story where heroes are freaking dying or are beaten and they're still gonna push themselves to continue the fight. You can't do that. It just doesn't work. Cool looking, but no. And also, yeah. Then we get all for one such these things. So you've all come to become quirkless. Ah, I mean, I'm not agreeing with him, but it's like, well, free. I mean, yeah, you kind of all are you're going to give up your quirks to fight this dude. Which I know this is not the intention. I think they're obviously going to do as much as they can to fight all for one. They're obviously going to do their best. They're not going to go down with a fight. And I actually do praise these heroes being able to just all come and stand up to all for one. But remember, all for one, unless it is from the last chapter, it was hinted that Shigaraki's power isn't really working out that going to be working that well with him. Since he said, is he dead and his body's heavily damaged. But Aizawa doesn't know that. So for all he knows, he's taking all these heroes to their deaths. Because for all Aizawa knows, all for one just has to touch the ground. All the heroes that just came died. They all freaking get annihilated. Aizawa must have really hit his head earlier. Then we get the scene that I really had mixed feelings about. Eri offering up her horn to help Aizawa. Okay. I liked that Eri knew, and she didn't try to beg Aizawa or ask Aizawa, please let me come with you. This because she knows already. She knows Aizawa's gonna tell her no. There's no way she's gonna come and go and help them, help on the battlefield, help heal Deku. She knows that. So what she does is she has ectoplasm. He bites her horn off. You may say, wait, bites her horn off? I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, he doesn't have arms. And he doesn't use his legs. He got like little stubby stick legs, so he had to bite it off. And Eri doesn't know if the horn is gonna work. Just by ripping it off and hitting, and well, not hitting it, but touching on the someone and having it work. For all Eri knows, I guess she's a child, but if she's this intelligent to realize, yeah, he's not gonna help me go through this, so I could offer up my horn. For all we know, the horn literally could have just broken and just turn away. Or Eri could have just ripped it in and it could have activated her and turned her into a fetus. It could have happened. It really could have. So, again, I don't like the horn thing. I don't like the horn being able to be ripped. But I do like the fact that Aizawa says, but if when he sees that, he's like, wait, if you rip your horn off, you could damage your quirk. And Eri says, you know what? I want to be a singer when I grow up. When I grow up, and that I was like, oh, that's so good. I like that. It's simple. For again, when I say it's simple, I don't mean it bad. Eri, when she attended the sports festival with Mirio and saw Deku and everyone performing on stage with Jiro singing the song, and Eri, finally breaking free from her not trauma, no, but the grip of that overhaul had on her. and just it fading away. No, she still has a trauma. I honestly don't. A festival is not gonna get rid of a trauma. But her seeing that, and actually her having joy, like the darkness is not holding her back no more, but she's actually having joy and having fun, seeing the festival and everything. She watching that, and she wants to do that in her in her life. I like that a lot. I thought that was really good. That's really really good. Again, simple. She says, "I want to be a singer. I want to do this." So that's why I want to give you this, this so you can give Deku as because he's helped me so much. I want to help him back. Like I was like, okay, that I really really like. That's like really good stuff there. Still not a fan of the whole because again, but again, here's another thing I think would have worked if Aizawa got Deku and teleported Deku back to Eri, and everyone else went to go fight All for One until Deku got healed and came back. I think that would have been a better solution. Because that way you could have got everyone's reaction watching Deku. This boy with missing arms and this little girl that he saved once healing him, so Deku could go back into the fight. That could have been a powerful scene there. But no, Aizawa gets the horn, taps on Deku, so this is gonna take about 2 or 3 minutes. But regardless, we're gonna be here to protect you. And as we see all the heroes just emerging out, and we see All for One just watching as he's like, oh, okay, okay, for it. Oh, all right. And this Shigaraki body has been like severely damaged to where I mean, we don't know how much he's capable of at this moment. So Shigaraki, such All for One, well, no, actually, really All for One, actually officially takes over the body. We don't know how damaged he is because he did say it was damaged, but it did seem like he was gonna blow away Deku. So yeah, but yeah, overall, if I had a again, this chapter had good moments and some terrible moments. It really, really did. So I'm very conflicted about it. And I will say the terrible moments do unfortunately just overtake the bad moments. Because again, Aizawa has no idea. And we don't really have any idea if Shigaraki is still able. Or, I sorry, I keep calling him Shigaraki. Oh, for one, is still able to use the K and just destroy everything. It's implied he doesn't, but Aizawa doesn't know that. He has no clue. For all he knows, he's throwing all the heroes to their deaths. And he doesn't know that Deku has most of his powers gone. Oh my! So honestly, this is just crazy. This chapter is crazy. Just because there were some good moments in here, I'm giving this chapter a 4 out of 10. Because the battle just completely weigh it down severely. That's just Aizawa has to be like you have to knock down Aizawa's intelligence. You have to buy Oboro / Kurogiri just teleport them onto a random island, not just literally on just some random island or landmass. Um, and then again, letting children again, like actual, like, well, I know teenagers are children, but middle schoolers to I don't know again, I don't know if this kid is middle schooler or elementary, but letting that like come on, like don't let them fight. And then the whole teleports in the sky because it's visually looks good, but like why would you do that? And yeah, so again, that's my review of this chapter. Good stuff, bad stuff for sure. But yeah, if let me know if you guys think I'm being a little too harsh on it. I'd be curious to hear what you all have to say. But yeah, that concludes my review. If you listened this far, I appreciate it and hope you guys have a great day and take care.